Alrighty. Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. Hope you guys are having a lovely weekend and that you're nice and comfortable and cozy and ready to kind of wind down a little bit. Hello Zerby, hello Pocket Mochas. How are you guys doing tonight? I hope you had a good weekend. It's been... Hello, Spiked Kirby. How's it going? So it's been a minute since I had just a, normal, I guess, quote unquote normal, trigger, like audio trigger and yapping style ASMR stream. So, for anybody who's not familiar with how it works, I do have, here, let me pull this up here. We have our list of triggers there. We do have a channel point redeem that you are able to use to request any one of those things. I do have my fizzy water handy for whenever anybody's ready for that. Tonight's is orange vanilla, so that'll be nice. And yeah, we're just gonna kind of keep it low key. I am very tired. I had kind of a full weekend. It was fun though. After doing a bunch of streaming and stuff yesterday, doing some Deltarune, some Pokemon, doing the Kuma Collective actually collab, which was a lot of fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. Too much energy is, yeah, basically. But after I finished all that last night, I also had a thing I went to with some friends, and we were doing stuff extremely late, so I did not get to bed until like 4 in the morning last night. So I'm running off of not a ton of sleep, but that's okay. I'm still doing all right. I'm still here, still ready to kind of yap and make some nice relaxing sounds for you guys, hopefully. But yeah, feel free to make any kind of trigger, redeem, request you might have for me, and I'll be happy to fill those for you. I've also got a couple of roleplays that I'm planning on pulling out later in the stream. I did not actually get the follow-up roleplays for Pride Month done just yet, but that's okay. We still have a few weeks of Pride Month left, so we will just have to save that for later. However, I did finally get a while back Ketchup requested a particular ASMR roleplay script, and that has since, well, I have now finished writing it, so I'm gonna try to perform that a little bit later. I am gonna wait a little bit since Ketchup tends to stop by on the later end of these streams, and so because of that I will hold off on doing that until he's around, so because it was his request in the first place. So but I'm excited to show that off. Hopefully it's good. I don't actually know how good it is, but I'm hoping it's a good one. Hello Ing, how's it going? Welcome in. I hope you're doing well. How was your weekend? How was everybody's weekend in chat? Please let me know if you want to. That is, like, did you guys do anything fun? Go any fun places? See any fun people? Eat any yummy foods? Or was it just like a low-key relaxation weekend, which is also a very, very good weekend? Mainly just drew all weekend? That's not bad, though. That's good. that can be, you know, depending, of course, like that might be the kind of thing that is like very soothing, but also very productive, and creative endeavors are good. So I hope it was I hope you had a fun time drawing. So, all right, so far playing Stellar Blade, been crashing a lot though. You think you mean like your computer's been crashing, or like just not making progress in the game? Computer issues can be kind of tricky sometimes and frustrating. Got to throw out a mattress, then went to an IKEA for the first time in years. Oh my gosh. I look low key, like I love going to IKEA. I think IKEA is a lot of fun. We have a couple nearby us. Like we're in that weird position of like kind of being in between like two different like locations that happen to just have IKEAs. So like we really go, there's one that's much closer than the other, but sometimes when we're looking for something in particular, if one of them doesn't have it, usually the other one does. So sometimes we go a little bit further for that. Let me see here. Hello, Some Sanity. How's it going? Urban. Hello. IKEA. Just some oak and some pine and a handful of Norsemen. IKEA. Selling furniture for college kids and divorced men. Everyone has a home. But if you don't have a home, you can buy one there. You can see the appeal, but you also see the meme of getting lost. It's very easy to like just get lost. It's like they're usually very big, and like we've done it both ways, where it's like, because usually like if you know exactly what you're going there for, you can like ahead of time kind of know where your like particular bin is on the actual warehouse level and just go straight for it, right? But like most of the time we go to the showroom first and just kind of walk around, because like that's sort of almost the fun part, right? Also, we've gone there for like their food court specifically a couple times too, and like they've got good food. I mean, as the song says, meatballs tasty. IKEA had some interesting desks you were looking at. However, they didn't have much for cable management. Yeah, their stuff can be pretty simple sometimes, which when all you need is something very simple, they can be really good for that. But there's also sometimes when you need something more specialized, there's not, they don't always have the features in furniture that you might be looking for. But usually when you need something like not terribly complicated, it's a very good, like, you know, go-to for just like some, handles up pretty well. Yeah. Like we got, I've gotten quite a few things from there, like a lot of storage, like any kind of like storage, like things, like they tend to have for relatively cheap, and they're not hard to put together. So like those are nice. Like we have so many of like the cube, I can't remember what they're called, but the like cube thingies where like you have like slots to put like modular like cubes in. We have like like 3 or 4 of those. They're pretty useful for that kind of thing. So it makes for some good general purpose storage, and sort of like pseudo bookshelf. It's not really a bookshelf, but it kind of can also work for one. I think was it the Viva Reverie, like the one of the like spin-off like JoJo but very fast videos that she's done, where like is it Josuke, I think, calls it like his IKEA gamer cabinet. And it's just the cubes. It's just the cubes. You know, the names and the items are Swedish, but they look like made-up words. I'm also fully convinced that sometimes they are very intentional about which Swedish words they're using for like making for some very silly sounding, like silly but like vaguely appropriate sounding words, even if you don't know the meaning of the word, right? I'm convinced that they do that on purpose sometimes. I'm sure like for a lot of cases it's more descriptive in Swedish. Maybe it's just the quirk of the language that sometimes like IKEA made an ASMR video one time. Really? Did they? I didn't know that. It was interesting. In kind of a weird way. Like like it's sort of a meme that like putting together IKEA furniture with friends is like a test of friendship kind of thing. This is the whole thing with the Kallax, like, oh wait, I think the cubes are actually called Kallax, now that I think about it. But that's the whole thing with like the Kallax game, right? That I've played with the other members of Kumiko, is like stuff is like frustrating sometimes and complicated, but like realistically speaking, like most of the furniture to put together stuff in there is really not that bad, and sometimes low key can be pretty satisfying. Like there's a very like almost like, it reminds me of like putting together Legos sometimes, right? Where it's just like the Allen keys make it pretty easy. Yeah, exactly. You've been learning Danish for a while, and you're only just now realizing how similar it is to some other Scandinavian languages. That makes sense. That makes sense. I believe that. Speaking of made-up languages, have you ever seen the German translation for birth control pills? I have, and I'm trying desperately to remember what it was actually, like what the joke actually is. Oh my gosh, I feel like anti-baby pilling. That's it. Yep. I was like, I know the word baby is in it. But yeah, nope, anti-baby pilling. This video is way longer than you remembered, really? Oh, I mean, that tracks. Most like ASMR videos, like on YouTube and such, tend to be like an hour long or so. I'm a little curious, so I'm going to click on this real quick just to see. Oh, it's 25 minutes. That's about right. But yeah. So, speaking of YouTube videos, I'm finally caught up with getting most of my VODs that were not up on YouTube yet done. Well, not done, but uploaded. There's a couple of exceptions that I want to try to go in and edit for the sake of, because I think it would, so like, this Secrets ASMR video is way longer than you remember it being the Streamers Interactive. But my point being, anyways, now that that's done, basically, I'm gonna be doing my best to start getting some actual, like, edited videos up on the channel. This is a long way to go around saying that if the script I wrote tonight is a thing you guys like and it's decent, I'm probably going to try to do a recorded version. Thank you so much, Kafka. Thank you so much, Jade. Thank you for the resub. Oh my gosh, 15 months? Oh my gosh, that's been a while. Thank you so much for the resub. I really do appreciate it. 15 months with your comfy Oshi. Aw, you're sweet, Jade. But yeah, if I do want to get I know I've been saying this for a while. Like, I've literally been saying it for probably close to a year. But now that I am actually caught up on getting VODs uploaded. So, the real question is whether I want to split off stuff to its own channel or if I'm just going to upload it to the main channel. I think I'm just going to try uploading it to the main channel. But, I do want to get my roleplays actually recorded proper, with multiple takes if I need to, and just kind of polished up a little. But that will include tonight's roleplay if it's good. There's always the chance that, it needs another pass, but we'll see. Like I said, once Ketchup shows up, because it was his script request, so I'll be doing that later. But IKEA is supposed to be cheap furniture, right? Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's like affordable, quote unquote, affordable furniture. Oh my gosh. Fed, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. Thank you. Oh my gosh, 6 months. Let's go. Thank you for the head pats. And we have a hype train starting. Just a heads up, everybody, again, that there it is. Okay, hang on. And we gotta hydrate. Thank you for that hydrate. Okay, let me get this for you, Wolfman. Wolfman. Ada. Hopefully that was good. What was I saying? Oh, let me see here. Oh, right. The fizzy water redeem has not been done yet, so if anybody wants that, it's there. Hello, Rex. Hello. Here for your usual sucrose sleepy voice to help you sleep. I'm glad. Sleep well, Wolfman. Thank you so much for the lurk support. I play old school games, but mainly a variety streamer, so having a variety YouTube channel would fit. That's true. Very tired, so you'll most likely fall asleep. Have a great stream. Thank you so much, Fad. Sleep well if you drift off. Thank you for the lurk. And we've got the fizzy water from Urban, so 1 second here. There we are. Mostly. Okay. Gotta take a sip because it's full. Welcome to the ASMR bar, where your drinks get poured into your ears. Alright, I can get the rest of this now. So tonight's fizzy water is orange vanilla. And it really is like I do think this is like my favorite brand of fizzy water now. This is the polar. I mean, it's fitting. It's the one with the bear on it. And yeah, no, it actually genuinely is kind of creamsicle-ish. Like, because like obviously these aren't sweetened, right? There's no actual sugar or sweetener in them. But sometimes these flavors, like when they're really well done, they can kind of trick your brain into thinking that they're sweet. And like the vanilla in this one really does. Also, citrus just works well as like, oh, excuse me. Citrus really works well as a fizzy water flavor, I feel like. I think the best ones tend to be citruses. Your ears burn from this fizzy drink being poured into your ears, but at least it sounds good. Yep. All kinds of cocktails directly from our containers into your ears. Enjoy the bubbles in your ear holes. What's been my favorite parts of the new Deltarune chapters so far? So, I haven't gotten to chapter 4 yet. We'll be doing that next week. Chapter 3 was great. I will say, so I guess like just my general take on it, I guess. Chapter 3 has been a lot of fun. It's good for all of the reasons that all of the other Deltarune chapters have also been good. It is definitely, it's a bit of a bridge chapter, I feel like, in the sense that, like, it sort of feels a little bit more like a downbeat in between chapters 2 and 4. Granted, I'm saying that without having played 4 yet, but from everything I've seen and heard about it, and I have avoided spoilers at all costs, but from everything I've, like, seen from other people's reactions, that seems to be the case. Like, 4 seems like it's going to be much more along the lines of what 2 was, in terms of just being kind of larger in scope and a little bit more, like, high on the adventure aspect to it, and like variety of characters you're running into and stuff like that. Like 3 is really fun, and the characters are really fun, and the mini games are amazing in it, but it also is definitely taking part in like 2 rooms basically the entire game, which is fine for what it is, but there's a little bit of something that's missing from it compared to chapter 2. But I do think the fact that chapter 4 is also just there means that it's like, that's fine. We can have kind of a downbeat chapter, I think. Hello while running. Hello. You've been meaning to play Deltarune chapter 3. It's a lot of fun. I think you will really enjoy it. If you enjoy Deltarune at all, you will enjoy it. Like, people have, like, I've had a couple people talk about that, like, that they like either they haven't played 3 and 4 yet, or they haven't played it at all and they don't know if they want to get into it. What I would say is, like, for anybody who has not played any of Deltarune and is interested in playing it, but is like, I don't know if it's for me, I don't know if I want to buy it, I'm fairly certain those first few chapters are still available as the demo. Like, I'm almost positive. Let me take a quick look at that, because I don't want to... I'm almost positive. Deltarune. Yeah. The demo is still there. So you can still get the first 2 chapters for free as a demo. And with that in mind, I'd just be like, just download chapter 1. Download chapter 1 and play it. And you'll know within that first chapter whether or not it's a thing you'll enjoy or not. And if you enjoy that first chapter, you'll love the whole thing. If you don't enjoy the chapter, then there's probably not that much that will sell you on it in the later chapters. It depends on what you didn't like about chapter 1, I guess. But chances are, if it wasn't your thing, you'll know it pretty quick. So Chapters 3 and 4 cost money. They do. Yeah, they do. I think the idea is, yeah, so I'm fairly certain the way that it works is that everything after chapter 2 is the game, as far as like purchasing the game, right? That's what you're getting, right? You're getting everything post chapter 2 for the cost, like for, what is it, $30? Let me see, hang on. No, $25. So it's $25, but I'm almost positive that's going to be everything through the end of the game. So chapters 3 through 7. It's just that 3 and 4 are the ones that are done right now. And apparently 5's not going to take that much longer compared to, especially compared to how long the wait we had for chapters 3 and 4. So apparently the future chapters are going to be coming out a little bit faster compared to before. Toby has been working super hard on these chapters. Not surprised it costs money. Yeah, but like my point is like I'm fairly certain if you buy chapters 3 and 4 when like 5, 6, and 7 are done, you're probably not going to also need to have to buy those. I think you just get them, right? And it was honestly, it was kind of insane that the first 2 chapters were free, right? Like they were basically full games on, well, chapter 1 and 2 together for sure is basically just like, that was like, it felt like a fully featured like RPG like on its own already, for free. Like didn't cost anything at all. So like that's a thing. So oh, I should be checking here. There, I'm just gonna move this down over here so that I can remember when faster. I do. So like, yeah, it's kind of wild because like, here, I'm just moving this to here so I can actually check and see if anything comes in on the YouTube end for chatting. You've never been a fan of Toby's games, but what you can say is the way he prices things is very well done. That's totally fair. And yeah, for sure. In a world with $80 single games, support the indies that give you 5 games for like $30. Exactly. Yeah, like it is kind of wild what he like has just like his pricing for things is definitely on point. And like I'm in a world and like I'll fully acknowledge that, like, because I am one of those people who is like, I adored Undertale when it came out. It was one of my it's still one of my favorite games ever. Deltarune, I like even more than that. I will straight up say that I think Deltarune is better than Undertale. But I also can acknowledge that like it's not for everybody, right? It's okay if you're looking at these games and you're just like, yeah, this isn't my thing. That's okay. Like, I don't think you're wrong for that. I do think that there is a level of like, humor is always subjective, right? Some people just don't vibe with the presentation such as it is. It is absolutely my thing. It is so much my thing. The character writing and the dialogue and the characters in general are like some of my absolute favorites in those games. But it's like, you know, like I said, it's subjective. Sometimes some people that's like, I find this annoying. I've literally talked to people who are like, I don't understand why everybody likes this. I find all these characters just completely insufferable. And it's like, you know what? That's fair. That's totally fair. I completely understand if it's not somebody's thing. So, interesting considering Undertale's success. I would expect chapter 1 and 2 to cost something. Maybe you'll check out Deltarune once you get to it. I recommend it. Like, especially if you enjoyed Undertale, absolutely give Deltarune a shot. 100%. Like, I think it is like I said, I genuinely think Deltarune is a better game. And I say that having absolutely loved Undertale. So I also would completely get if somebody was like, well, I liked Undertale better. So, you know. Sucrose then mauled that person with her bare hands. Wait. It's fine. Don't worry about it. They're fine. They're absolutely fine. Anyways, but no, like, yeah, like I said, I get it. It's not, and also I have talked to people before who are like, because it's like, it's not always about even like, whether or not you gel with like the humor or the characters. Like, I've also talked to people who, you know, love the characters and the world being put forth, but they can't get into the gameplay of it because it is like, it's a relatively straightforward RPG setup, but if you do not enjoy like the bullet hell kind of style, like reaction based kind of gameplay thing going on there in the combat, it's gonna be hard to really like get anywhere in those games. Like, it just is, and I completely get that. Like, I do think there's a level of like being able to just kind of engage with the game as it exists, for the sake of seeing the story and stuff without doing the harder difficulty stuff in there. But for the people who like that, well, not even like that wasn't the point I was trying to make. But like, if you are the kind of person who wants to see everything, and the kind of person who doesn't like the concept of like knowing that there's content in the game that you are not having access to, yeah, the games get really hard. Speaking of which, the end of chapter 3, like, holy shit. That was genuinely like, so as somebody who never did the No Mercy run in Undertale, I just didn't do it, never did it. I have no interest in doing it. It's not like that part, I'm okay with that being an element of the game that I haven't seen. However, there was always kind of that element of like, man, the Sans fight is kind of crazy looking. I have no clue if I'd be able to do it. I think I've experienced something pretty close to it now. I don't know if the end of chapter 3, how analogous that is to the Sans fight, but it's gotta be close. So now I can say that I've done something like that. And I'll admit that, like, those of you who were here for Thursday's stream, and the fact that I spent a solid 3 hours on that boss fight, I got a little bit salty during it, not gonna lie, and like definitely had some complaints about the difficulty spike. But once I did get used to that fight and like got a real chance to kind of sit down and practice it, it's actually kind of fun. It's actually a really fun fight. Like, I actually enjoyed getting better at it. So, let me see here. Hang on. Sorry. Catching up with chat. Toby Fox making Undertale inspired you to want to make your own. That's awesome. Like, that's the thing, is like, Undertale was like, however you feel about it as a game, the fact that it was like, I think there's like an undeniable success there in terms of like one dude, well, not entirely by himself, obviously he did have other things going on, but like what, like, by and large, this was one dude making a game and just saw it to completion. And like, that's part of what Deltarune's kind of fun for me too about, is like, Deltarune is the game that he had wanted to make for like ever, like even before he started Undertale, and then Undertale's success meant that he could do it, and that's really cool to me. And seeing the fact that he's like managed to get like a full studio of people together now for that, and a full team, and can actually make the game he's wanted to make forever. That's super cool to me. I'm curious, where do you stand on the easy mode argument? A lot of people think that Elden Ring should have an easy mode. I'm sure there are people who can't do the Undertale combat that an easy mode would help. Generally speaking, it's interesting. There was a conversation in the Discord earlier today that kind of not quite the same discussion. Like, it was a little bit different, but it sort of bleeds into the same kind of thing here. I think that here's the thing. There was a really, really good argument. So I do understand the argument of like mechanical difficulty as an element of expression and an element of like it kind of has its own artistic merit. I don't disagree with that. However, I also think that like it depends on what the point of your game is, I guess. And like if part of the point of your game is to tell a story and provide an experience, I don't think there's anything whatsoever wrong with allowing for increased accessibility to that, and, you know, giving a leg up for people to experience that, especially given how freaking expensive gaming can be sometimes. If I'm gonna spend it, I mean, whether or not it's me or whether or not it's somebody else, for me, sometimes I feel this way in certain games, but like, I know for some people, especially people with like, disabilities, it's like, look, if you're gonna spend $60 on a game, do one of two things, okay? Either be upfront about the fact and very, very clearly communicate to people that like, hey, we're not compromising on the difficulty of this game. The difficulty is the point. This is not going to be for everybody. Know what you're getting into before you buy it. Or include the means for people to tailor their experience in a way that allows for them to, you know, engage with the game in the way that they can. Games are too expensive to buy a game and then realize like 2 hours into it that like, oh, I can't play this. And now there's an argument from some people that like that's the point at which you know, work on improving, and there's an element to that that's valid, but also not everybody can, right? People have limited amounts of time. People have limited skills in certain directions. Some people have legitimate disabilities that prevent them from being able to do certain things. So that's not always going to be the case, but sometimes it's genuinely the case. And so when that, like, with that in mind, like, easy, like, I feel like, not that you have to, I mean, that was the conversation earlier, and my take on it is simple inputs are good. Simple inputs are good. They should be there. They are, I very personally, my own preferences is that I think they should both be available. Both simple inputs and mechanical and like motion inputs should both be available for people for whatever they'd like to do. But like, simple inputs are good. It's good that they're there. They should continue to be there. I do not think they were a bad thing. But also admit, I said as much in that conversation, like, a lot of this is subjective. A lot of this is, you know, things that people kind of need to come to their own conclusion about. Should always be an option. I kind of agree. I think there's very little reason at this stage to, like, now, I think it's also proven out pretty solidly that input style and game complication and difficulty are not the same thing. You can have a very mechanically complicated game and a very difficult game and genre, and the input style doesn't really have a bearing on that. Like, your ability to do an input or not is like one of the most arbitrary difficulties in fighting games. So much more about fighting games has inherent difficulties that your input style is not going to matter for, right? Like, it's really not. Like, to some degree, yes, it's lowered barrier, reactions are a thing. Improving the simplicity means that faster reactions can happen, and, certain things need to be designed around with that in mind, but I don't think that's a bad thing. So, anyways, I realize it's a tinderbox of a discussion, but that's just, it kind of gets to the point that, like, I think at its core, I think that when it comes to providing accessibility to people, I think designing things well is quite possibly the most important thing. Now, I would say in a vacuum, erring on the side of accessibility is good. But, like, here, let me give, Granblue is my primary fighting game. I think it's a great example of an effectively implemented, I guess we can call it difficulty setting, sort of, quote unquote, in that, so comparing it to another game that has also done a very good job in increasing accessibility, which is Street Fighter 6, right? Street Fighter 6 asks you at the beginning, are you going to be playing with classic controls, motion inputs, or are you going to be playing with modern controls, simplified inputs? You're picking one or the other. You're only doing one or the other. Granblue does not ask you that question. It's basically saying that, like, hey, the motion inputs are here. The simple inputs are here. We're not asking you to pick. You use whichever you like. Now, there are reasons to do one over the other. Like, it's not completely wide open, right? But what I like about that is, like, you're not locking yourself into one style or the other. It is entirely up to you as a player to set your own quote-unquote difficulty for yourself on your inputs. If you want to do everything with motion inputs, you can. If you want to do nothing with motion inputs, you also can. And if you're like, hey, like me, this is my approach. It's like, hey, mostly I'm good with motion inputs. I like doing them. I think they're fun. I can do them pretty decently, so I'm going to use them for the most part. But then there's some stuff where it's like, this particular input I'm not great at, and this this situation that I might be in, I value my ability to get the correct input quickly enough that I'm going to use the simple inputs on that. And again, I think it's a good sense of, like, there's a good sense in there of, like, there is a sliding scale of the difficulty curve there that is up to the individual player to decide on. And I think that's awesome. I really do. And I think the same thing goes for other games. I think the best done difficulty settings are the ones that are the most inherently designed into the game, where, like, you can tweak your individual difficulty. Whether this is not to take anything away from just, like, toggleable difficulty too, right? Like, that's also fine. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that if it's designed well, if it's not just an arbitrary. I think the worst design of it is just, like, scaling numbers, right? That works, and if it makes things more accessible for people, I think that's good, but it's the least creative version of this, right? I think more creative versions tend to be like how, like, give yourself a way to approach this stuff, whether that's changing your input styles, like, I guess just this is hypothetical, right? Like, let's say there is a and it's possible there's a game that works like this, but I don't know for sure. But like, let's say there's a game where your attacks are timing based, right? Like, Shadow Hearts, basically, right? Like, where you have a wheel and like the thing, like, you have to, like, there's a spinner and you're making your attacks based on that, right? An easy mode version of that, quote unquote, might be to be like, hey, we'll take this timer part away from it, rather than just, but also you can, like, you have your choice, like, you could do the timer thing, and maybe that gives you, like, a slight benefit, but, like, I think slight but negligible benefits to more challenging input styles is fine, right? There's something similar with Grand Blue, where, like, there is a minor damage decrease if you're doing the simplified inputs, but it's not by enough to really make or break the game. Something similar in, like, an RPG there, where it's like, yeah, we'll take the timing thing away, but you lose out on that potential crit, but you also get consistent damage, right? Your attack just goes through. But also, like, it might be interesting to maybe be like, there's still a challenge part here in terms of, like, maybe there's, like, I don't know, a little other kind of puzzle, little mini game you can interact with, like, I'm struggling to think of a good one, but I don't know, like, selecting the appropriate symbol or something, right? Where it's like, it's testing a different skill. Maybe this is a bad example, but I don't know. Basically, my point being, like, ways in which your approach to the game can be tailored to exactly what you want to do with it. Actually, like, weirdly enough, there's another really good example I can think of like, there's an argument that has been made of, like, at least some of the Pokemon games kind of having a shadow difficulty level involved in, like, which starter you pick, in the fact that, like, you are setting yourself up with particular advantages early on to kind of ease you into it, right? Like, if you pick Bulbasaur in Red and Blue, you've got a ready-made Pokemon with advantages in the first two gyms. If you pick Charmander, you don't. You kind of explicitly have a Pokemon for your main party member that is not going to do as well in those gyms right off the bat. So stuff like that, right? Working your difficulty choices into the game design itself, I think, is the most interesting approach that can be taken, and I think it's probably the best implemented. But that said, sometimes just having a toggleable difficulty setting is all you need, and that's also fine. Like, I don't know. I guess I don't know if I answered your question. I guess I did too much answering of your question. But I guess it's probably pretty obvious that I think difficulty settings are not a bad thing at all, and I think can provide their own interesting design challenges for how you could just use that to improve the game. Anyways, I'm, like, way behind on chat now. Let me see here. Hang on. I'm glad you like my views on this, Irvin. I appreciate it. Also, hello, King Coffee. I don't remember if I've said hi to you yet, so I'm saying hi to you again now, just in case I didn't. So, thank you for that ramble down Sucrose Avenue. It's what I'm good at. I can ramble. Grand Blue is done by Arc System Works. Yes, that's correct. Have I ever heard of it? I have not played Sonic Smackdown, but I have heard of it. Let me see here. There's all the accessibility options in the recent Smash Brothers games and even some earlier ones, i.e. turning off stage hazards, choosing which modes you want to play in, stock timed or coin, choosing what level of it you want, enabling all or certain items run at all. Smash is... No, I agree with King Coffee that Smash's way of doing that is definitely different, but I think, like, it's also a valid, like, you know, choices of gaming types. That's all versions of difficulty settings. How well it does or doesn't work is, you know, its own question. I would say with Smash, I think you're inherently choosing a different type of game. And obviously in a competitive setting, it's something different. But also once we're talking about competitive settings, this conversation changes a little bit. But in other ways it doesn't, because the accessibility things are still a thing. So, I don't know. Anyways, window borderless is crashing stellar. Oh, really? Interesting. Let me see here. I only say hi to my friends and we're no. Hi, King Coffee. We're watching The Iron Giant. Oh, cool. It's been forever since I've seen that movie. Now that Spike Kirby has given us photographic evidence of your... No. Anyways. Can't believe that mother named her child Hogue. Wait, what? Oh, right, the Iron Giant. Yeah, God, that's been forever. I did not remember character names in that. Why did it go silent all of a sudden? Because I was glaring at Pocket Mochas. Not a Pokemon, not a Spinda. Don't believe the propaganda. What sort of sick person names their kid Hogarth Hughes? Do not believe the propaganda. I am not a Spinda. Not. Nope. Mm-mm. 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 Anyways, in terms of, we were talking about Undertale and Deltarune specifically. Sucrose is not a weapon. Definitely not. No. Mm-mm. Anyways, yeah, talking about difficulty levels, specifically in regards to Deltarune and Undertale, I think to some degree, arguably speaking, the approach you take to those games is also in its own way sort of a difficulty selection. You are inherently choosing how you're approaching combat in those games, and technically speaking, just taking straightforward attacks and KOing enemies that way can be a little bit easier than the acting method of, like, you know, finding the thing that makes them spareable. And Deltarune did kind of give you an alternate means of sparing enemies with Ralsei's sleep spell. So in a way, that is sort of a difficulty setting. That said, I do think it is a game that could benefit from a little bit more... Okay, there's actually Undertale, no head pat sparing method, aw. I think There might be at least one enemy spared via head pat. So actually, oddly enough, Undertale does have something akin to a difficulty setting that Deltarune doesn't have. And it's maybe arguable that Secret's husband spared. Yes. Thank you for sparing me. So now the thing with the Undertale, you look very cozy in your Pokeball. You're gonna head out for the night and have a good night, Pocket Mochas. Thank you for stopping by. Sleep well. Sleep well. The thing with Undertale's, quote unquote difficulty setting is that it's hidden, which is maybe not the right way to include something like that. Although with the internet being what it is, it's not like the information isn't accessible. So arguably the information should be readily available within the game itself. But this is a your mileage may vary kind of thing. But like Undertale has the Temmie armor, which is a very, very strong piece of equipment that you can put on your character, and it heals you over time in battle, and it ups your defense a lot. You do have to find Temmie Village first, and then you have to, get the money together to actually, you have to know that you have to get it this way too. So there's a number of things kind of in your way that, arguably would be nice if the game was a little bit more upfront with letting you know about. However, if you do go out of your way to get that armor, it allows for a lot more in terms of it gives you a lot more allowance for mistakes. Deltarune doesn't really have something that similar. Now, for the individual boss fight I was talking about at the end of chapter 3, it does technically, but it's also hidden behind something that's pretty mechanically challenging. So it doesn't really have, in a big way that in a way, the Temmie armor in Deltarune was sort of a bit of a, I don't want to call it pity option, but it is sort of a little bit of a pity option, where it's like, if you're having trouble, you can go get this thing, and it gives you more allowance for mistakes. If you don't have it, then it's a little bit more challenging. Again, Deltarune does have something that is almost required for fighting that last boss in chapter 3, which, by the way, is optional. It's completely optional, and the game lets you know that it's very, very optional. So there is that too, right? But however, the difference between these is that, like I said, the Shadow Mantle in chapter 3 of Deltarune is only obtainable if you do another difficult thing, compared to the Temmie armor, which is available no matter what, so long as you know how to get it. And there's not really a readily accessible item in the same way in Deltarune that would give you kind of that cushion, right? And arguably there maybe should be, right? That would make it easier for people to do the, quote unquote secret / extra bosses in each chapter, because all of them are hard. All of them are very hard. Like Jevil, Spamton, and the unnamed chapter 3 boss that I think still counts as a spoiler, so I'm not going to say what it is. They're all very, very hard. The third chapter one especially is a giant difficulty spike, and there's not really anything for it aside from just being able to learn the patterns. And if you are not the kind of person who really has that skill, in terms of like the Twitch reactions, and being able to deal with all of that, it's pretty inaccessible. And giving something, even if it's a difficult to find something, but still like not locked behind something else mechanically difficult, method for giving yourself a little bit of cushion for that would be maybe pretty nice. And maybe it's one maybe, if I was going to say shortcomings Deltarune has, it's maybe one of them, is that it doesn't currently have that. You know, you do find it that Undertale and Deltarune are either punishing or not rewarding fighting enemies, even though it's an RPG. I know some people find grinding and leveling up to high tedious, but they're a staple for a reason. Can't make your guy stronger without equipment, really. So, with Undertale, specifically, I mean, Undertale was a meta commentary, right? That was arguably the point. It's very, very heavily based on another, like, it's taking heavy inspiration from, oh gosh, why can't I think of the name of the game? There's another, is it Moon, I think? Which was another, like, more obscure RPG that is sort of doing similar levels of, yeah, it is Moon. Similar levels of meta commentary that Undertale is also doing. So it's kind of inherently baked into it. Deltarune's a little bit less of that. Deltarune's not that punishing. Actually, Deltarune is significantly less punishing when it comes to your approach to enemies, because if I recall correctly, at least in the first 2 chapters, I have not attempted actually like fighting anything in chapter 3, but I assume it's still the same deal. You are not, in Undertale, if you stray from the pacifist path at all, you can't get the pacifist ending. Deltarune gives you a lot more flexibility, because the important part is how many of each individual enemy type you've recruited by sparing them, and it doesn't really matter beyond that whether or not you're fighting things directly, because you can't really kill anything in Deltarune. Things run away. Well, that's not entirely true, but things run away from you rather than die when you knock something out, right? Effectively, quote unquote. So you have some flexibility there. I don't think you get any more money from doing that with combat than if you were to do the sparing route, but you also don't get less. So I would say Deltarune is a lot less of a it's a lot less punishing on that front. Now, more to your point, I guess, having an RPG where your only means of increasing strength is through equipment, the Deltarune as a game is definitely not unique for that in the RPG space. Like, there are a fair number of JRPGs where your equipment is way more relevant for your relative strength level than like grinding and gaining levels, right? Some of them, in some cases, leveling is still there, but it's pretty negligible compared to your equipment. And in some cases, there's no actual grinding of that sort at all outside of gaining items for things, right? So it's not a new concept. And it's not even that unusual, I would say. I would say it is definitely more unusual compared to the standard, but it's not it's not breaking some core tenet of the genre, at least not in a way that hasn't already been broken or arguably kind of wasn't really present in the first place. So, as a hard rule, it's not really breaking a rule that was firmly placed as something you're not supposed to break, right? You know, again, different strokes for different folks, and if it's not a thing you enjoy, that's legit. But yeah, anyways, gonna be buying a new case next payday. Lee and Lee Evo XL's looking great for that's awesome. Best of luck for that. I'm assuming you mean PC case, right? Yeah, so Earthbound, the Mother series was definitely aesthetically and game flow wise was definitely a major inspiration point, but there is a different RPG I'm talking about specifically that Undertale took a lot of inspiration from in terms of its themes. And I'm almost positive that was called Moon. Let me look that up actually real quick. Is it Moon RPG? Yeah, it was Moon. It was Moon. Anyways, so had to look it up, and yeah, you see it. I've never actually played it. I should play it at some point. It's from what I've seen and been told, it's a pretty good game. Definitely unconventional, but what else is an underrated RPG? I mean, a lot of them, but which one in particular are you talking about? Guardian's Crusade. I feel like this has been brought up before. Guardian's Crusade. Let me take a look. Guardian's Crusade. Oh, this is definitely a PS1 RPG. Oh my goodness. Interesting. But yeah, I have so many RPGs to get through on stream. The list is way too long, guys. It's too long. It's called Night and Baby in Japan. What was I saying? Oh, so I don't have a lot of rocket-propelled grievances. Have I played Rocket Knight Adventure on stream before? I don't remember if I have or not. It has nothing to do with what we were just talking about. Just rocket-propelled made me think of Rocket Knight Adventures. That game, it's been forever since I've played that. Don't believe so. I might have to do that on stream at some point. It's fun. Plot is you raise a pet monster that isn't, or that an angel tells you to protect. Oh, okay. Anyways, I've never played the, Sparkster, I think, was the follow-up game on the, because Rocket Knight Adventures is on the Genesis, and Sparkster was on the SNES, I think, and they were very different games, and I never quite gelled with Sparkster. I think I liked the little bit, like, the slightly more, like, linear, kind of more arcadey feel of Rocket Knight Adventures, so working on getting, good work on getting to Master Rank with Jita. You're still working on Galleon, but you're getting better with her. You'll definitely get it, and also thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I guess to talk about it on stream, because I haven't, on the Grand Blue end of things, yeah, I mentioned it in the Discord, but I keep doing this stuff off stream, but, yeah, I managed to get Jita up to Master Rank, this last week, and it actually on Friday, I think, and it was super exciting, and considering Jita was my original main when the game launched, it was really, really cool to come back to her and work on her, and I'm very, very proud of myself for getting myself there, and, you know, I had already gotten a character to master rank, right? It was Versusia, and it was at a time when Versusia was still very, well, I mean, she's still very strong now. Like, it's not like she suddenly isn't strong, but, you know, arguably within the top 3. Whether or not she was top 1 was debatable, but people had different thoughts on that. Point being, she was she was in an extremely strong place. She's in a slightly weakened place now, not by much. That's its own conversation. There was a level of, yes, I did see that. That Moon Remix is on Steam. There was a level of, you know, question within my brain, which I recognize fully. Not a productive question, but a question nonetheless, where it was like, did I only make it here because of the character? Which is not a productive thing to think. It's really not. Regardless of the character being played, and regardless of how strong they are, making it to a top rank still requires a lot of work on the part of the player. And a character, right, however strong they might be, is not going to do the work for you. So it's still valid, still on the person for getting there, right? I 100% believe that. And I would 100% have told anybody else who is not me those exact words. When it comes to me, I'm a lot harder on myself. And you guys know that. The point being, that question is not there with Jada. There is no version of this that's like, there's no realistic possible version here where it's like, oh, this character just carried you kind of thing. This definitely doesn't exist there. So it felt very validating to get there, because it was like, you know, regardless of my own ability to undercut my own achievements, this one was one that I couldn't do that with. So it was just like, Grandmaster, that, okay, look, I'm gonna be honest. As the words of Ender himself, just because someone gives you an easy bake doesn't mean they can cook. So, look, I do think that's a valid way to put it. I don't love the wording on that, because I do think it still is a little reductive, but, you know, it's still a good point. And, but again, doesn't exist with this one. I did it with the mid-tier. Let's go. Jada's still a good character, but she's definitely not a top tier. So I managed to do it there, and that makes me very happy. Also, the next time I play Granblue on stream, because this has also been a thing, because I haven't actually done Granblue on stream in a while. I have a completed mod for Jada, that I commissioned, and it's super, super cute. Here, hang on, let me see. I can probably pull up the images, because like I do want to kind of share that, because I think it's super cute. Oh, I have to scroll way back in here for this. Well, I guess not way back. No, it is pretty far back. Never mind. Here, this will be easier. Because I put it in a couple places. Let me see here. Yeah, that should work. Yeah, we'll do it this way. So, if I think, yeah, let's do this. Oh, it just immediately popped up. Ha ha ha. So yeah, I love this so much. It's so cute. Me. People were already like saying that Jada was basically just me design-wise. And yeah, this even more so now. So I love it. So Um, anyways, yeah. It's super cute. So you'll see that on stream next time I play Grand Blue, because I'll probably play some Jita. So that's cool. Anyways, um, let me see here. Without stream, you don't have the mental pressure of the audience watching. That's true. It's true. I think streaming fighting games can kind of help my mindset sometimes, to be honest. I don't think it's an entire, like, I don't think it's quite that cut and dried, but it is definitely it is a factor that there's a lot less pressure when I'm off stream. So it's probably not entirely an accident that I finished those pushes off stream as opposed to on stream, but you know. Yep. It's been fun. I've been trying to put a little bit more time into kind of relearning Versusia now after having gotten Jita up to master, because I do want to try to like adjust myself a little bit to her changes. But I will be starting another character on a rank up journey at some point. I just don't know who. I have a couple characters in mind that I kind of do want to give a shot at. Catalina, probably not Cat, to be honest. I mean, I could. And to be honest, I could probably get a lot of mileage out of Cat just playing her like Jita, but I am not. I don't think her wall cancel combos would be out of reach for me necessarily. They just are, they're just kind of frustrating for me. Thank you for the trigger request, by Kirby. Do you just want me to do some gows into the microphone? Is that the request? Because I will, if you want, if that's what you're asking for. So if it's not what you're asking for, then yes, okay, it is. Okay. Gow. Gow, gow, gow. 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 Is this working for people? Is this good? Do you guys like those? Gow, gow, gow. Gow, gow, gow. Gow, gow, gow. Gow, gow, gow. Gow. There we go. I hope you enjoyed. I realize you are probably referencing a song, King Copy, and it is not immediately apparent to me what the song is, so unfortunately I would normally like try to sing it, but I don't know what it is. Don't bring me down. Gow, 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 gow. Ooh, woohoo. Oh well. Anyways, we are approaching 10:30. Ticket to the moon. Oh, I am not familiar with that. Hello, Cristobal. Hello, welcome in, welcome in. Apologies, I just need to get to a point where I can get I need to check Slime Chat and see if it actually has, the means to do, YouTube chat, because it didn't when I had this set up before, but So I apologize that the YouTube end of things, that your guys' chat is not showing up over here, but I do see you guys, and I'm doing my best to keep up with both sides of things. Still on your tab if YouTube people want redeems. Well, you know what? I'll throw that out there then. If anybody on the YouTube end of things has a particular redeem that they would like in terms of ASMR triggers, toss them out into chat. And it sounds like King Coffee is offering to use his channel points on the Twitch end to get them for you guys. So you'll also throw your money into the pot because you have a lot. Hi, Kona. So it doesn't show, like the trigger list does not show up on the YouTube end. So by triggers, I mean like if there's a particular word or phrase or sound you want. What else? I think I mostly just have like sounds and stuff listed. Let me see here. Hang on. I can read that real quick actually. I did see your redeem, by the way. Dr. Smoke, I will get that in a moment. Yeah, Kona, I've been here the whole time. Okay, so our trigger list, which unfortunately doesn't show over on the YouTube side of things, is microphone tapping, ear cupping or rubbing. So I'm just giving you guys a sampler real quick here. Just a really quick sampler of all the triggers. Makeup brush. Frog toy. Trying to be quiet with it. Game controller sounds. Glass tapping. Tongue clicking. Trigger words or phrases. Keyboard typing. Brush scratching, which would be this one here. And pouring fizzy water. However, we have done that one already. That's limited to once per stream because I gotta open up a can for each of those. So we limit those. So in any case, that's your little sampler for both ends of stream, both Twitch and YouTube. Got to get that. But on YouTube's end, if you guys want to toss into chat any requests, our lovely individuals, our lovely colliders here on the Twitch end of things have offered to donate their own channel points to help out those of you on YouTube's end. So, up to you guys, whatever you'd like. Anyways, I believe, oh boy, that was a little bit of a, okay, more gals. All right, we can keep the gals going. Keep them going. Go, 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 There we go. Oh, also, I believe whispering is its own... Oh, it's actually not its own trigger, or not its own request anymore, but you can also request whispers. So if you are particularly prone to tingles off of whispers specifically, if you want me to swap to some whispering, you can always request it in the channel points, and I'll do this for 5 minutes. It's also definitely, it is not easy to keep up whispering for long periods of time, so it's part of why I have it on a redeem as opposed to defaulting to that, because for one, I tend to prefer soft-spoken ASMR on my own end anyways. I think it is more tingly to me personally. It feels very, my own preferences at least, I think soft-spoken feels a lot more intimate than a whisper. But I also know that some people really do prefer the whispers. I know we have at least one person in chat right now for whom that's true. But, yes. Anyways. So, we are approaching the 11 o'clock hour, and I know Catch Up is still, I believe, doing his own stream. I'm waiting on him to stop by after he's done to do his roleplay specifically. However, we can, I guess, lead up to that if we want with other ones that have already been written, or I mean, this one's also already been written, but other ones that I've done in the past. Let me see if I can find them real quick. Okay, well, I found one right away. And I think the other one is probably over here. I'm just checking. Yep, there it is. So I'm just opening these in their own tabs, but yeah, I don't, if you guys, I'm also totally fine with just continuing to yap on until a certain Catch Up the Bear stops by. But also, if you guys are wanting to get the roleplay vibes going, just let me know in chat and we can go ahead and start some ones that are not the new one. But I can also talk about what the script is that we'll be doing later. What Catch Up requested was a roleplay in which basically the roleplay is your big sister helps you beat a video game boss. So that's what that was the theme that I had that I was writing the script around. And I think I did a decent job with it. So, some sisterly advice, I guess. And definitely some controller sounds in this one. But yeah, I'm hoping people like it. I hope it was well done, but we'll see. Probably within the next 20 minutes or so. That tends to be when Catch Up wraps up and stops by, so. Anyways. Your sister teaches you to stop being a noob. That was not quite the mood I was going for on it, but, But yeah, basically. It's like, have you considered not being bad at the game? I would never actually say that. Holy shit. At least not in a not in a non-joking way. If you would consult the graph, oh my god. There was, so I play, obviously I play fighting games all the time, and there are some local friends that I hang out with sometimes to like play games with and stuff. And there was one night where like, so I'm particularly bad at trash talking, right? I'm really bad at it. I generally don't like doing it, and I'm not very, like, even if I try to make myself do it, I generally am pretty bad at it. But my friends are not. They are not bad at it. And basically one night, one of my friends that we were, like, as we were playing, like, at one point their partner, or his partner, came to sit down, like, next to him, and he was just like, I keep losing these matches. And their partner, just like, without skipping a beat, just like looked straight at him, and they were like, have you tried playing a game that you're actually good at? And we were just like, what? So, and to be clear, my friend is genuinely really good at these games. We just all happen to be pretty good at them. So, you know, there's a lot of back and forth in these. And whenever we get together to play games, because, you know, all of us are good, and all of us are good at different characters, and we all have our games that we specialize in. So, yeah. Sounds like you witnessed a metaphorical murder. I did, and it was like the fact that it was their partner that said it. I was just like, oh shit. But they're allowed to, right? Because that's how partners are. So partners are allowed to do that metaphorical burning. You know, obviously in lovingly, and, you know, but still. It was actually part of what I was doing this weekend, because I talked about the fact that, like, I was doing stuff last night after being done with the stream, that I was up super late. Part of that was I was having a get together with my local friends, and we played a lot of fighting games. So we had a little bit of Grand Blue, not that much. Played a lot of Strive, a lot of Guilty Gear Strive. So, and some Street Fighter. Actually, we played, actually, now that I think about it, we didn't play any Street Fighter. No, wait, no, we did. We played Street Fighter Alpha 3. Because they picked up, Capcom Fighting Collection 2, I think, which had the Capcom vs. SNK 1 and 2. We played both of those. Is it Capcom Fighting Evolution, I think? Which is a weird game. And then some Street Fighter Alpha 3. So, Ooh, 1 second. Okay, there we go. But yeah, so I think the way I'm gonna do this with the role plays is, I think I do want to hold off on the Pride ones specifically. Technically, one of these was written for Halloween and not for Pride, but it also works for Pride, and it'll work better for Pride when I write the follow-up. Basically, if any of you guys remember the Ghost Girlfriend roleplay that I did, I guess Ghost Girlfriend was kind of the wrong word for it. It was the Ghost Roommate, I guess, roleplay that I wrote. I want to write a follow-up to that one where it kind of becomes more explicitly a Ghost Girlfriend thing. So, and it's it's definitely an F for F intended one. I guess technically speaking, well, no, it's pretty explicit that the ghost is a lesbian, so or at least bi, I guess. But I'm not opposed to doing F for A's. Like, I'm really not. I don't know that I would ever do like outright F for M's, but F for A's, it's relatively easy to tweak a lot of scripts to make them also work for that. For people who don't know what I'm talking about necessarily, when in role plays that involve talking directly to the listener, especially if they are, I guess, flavored romantically in any capacity, but is also not necessarily specifically for romantic, role plays. The tagging of them basically kind of lets you know ahead of time, like, what the intention is for them. So, like, F for F would be female for female, or I guess femme for femme, depending. F for A would be femme for all. So, no real gender of the listener specified. And then F for M would be female for male. So, gender specified to be male on the receiving end. And then obviously you have that goes in any combination there. So like A for A for F, A for M, M for F, blah, 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 blah. So point being, I tend to write my scripts not explicitly, but I guess implicitly F for F as my default. But I'm not opposed to doing other things. Gal for bear, exactly. GFB. But like I said, it doesn't. All of the I think all of the roleplay scripts I've written, the understanding has been that the listener is intended to be female, but I think for some of them it's not explicit. Like the Ghost ASMR roleplay, I don't think the gender of the listener is ever specified. The Yandere one definitely was, but that also is not hard to, that one's not hard to tweak into an F or A. It's also really subtle in the Yandere one, so. And then the, like, the whole coming out to your best friend one was also way more explicit in terms of, like, that too, so. Time to play some more Stellar Blade. See you later. Have a good one, Ing. Thank you for stopping by. Enjoy your gaming. And good night whenever you head off to bed. I hope you sleep well. Have fun. See you. No spoilers. Oh. I need to look into Stellar Blade, I think. Stellar Blade, if I'm not mistaken, people have mentioned it is a Souls-like, basically, right? Is that correct, or am I thinking of a different game? Souls-likes have not been my thing, outside of Blasphemous, which is kind of an outlier. But I'm not opposed to trying them. But Nier Automata meets Souls is the gist of what you've heard. Okay. Okay, interesting. I also haven't played Nier Automata. maybe I should fix that first. Because I've also heard very good things about Nier. Yeah. So maybe that's a thing in the future. In terms of... Uh-oh. Did I say some magic words? Your brain is still intact. Uh-oh. Was that a good ooh or a bad ooh? Better than Yakuza, without a shadow of it. That is extremely high praise coming from you. So, I'll keep that in mind. Because, again, I'm used to... Well, speaking of Yakuza, we will be getting back to Kiwami 2 soon, I promise. It might be outside of this month, to be honest, because, like, it was always going to be a thing, and I was very upfront with it, that as soon as Deltarune Chapters 3 and 4 came out, I was dropping everything to play that, and that's still going to be true. How much longer we're on it's going to depend on, I think after this week, if I'm not done with Chapter 4 within the Tuesday and Thursday streams, it will probably... I'll probably go back to it. I'll probably move to it being a, like, one stream slot game. And then we'll probably get back to, well, next week, we also have the rest of the Soul Link with Terberry. But, you know, eventually, if we happen to still be playing Deltarune beyond a certain point, then Yakuza will you know, regain its slot as the second game we're playing. Or if we finish Deltarune within the next week or two, then, you know, Yakuza Kiwami 2 will take its slot back up in the Tuesday slot. So that's a thing. I don't know what's happening with... Well, no, I do, actually. Once we're done with the Soul Link with Barry, I'll be starting up a Hat in Time. But eventually, like very, very soon, I have my eyes on one or two Pokemon fan games that I want to get around to playing. I think probably the one I'm probably going to get to first is Real Idea System, I think is how it's pronounced. When I first saw the name of it, I thought it was like Real Idea System. I thought that was how you were supposed to pronounce it, but then I've heard other people just call it Real Idea. So, hello, Cut Maniac. Welcome in. Welcome in. How you doing tonight? I hope you're having a good end to your weekend. Just thinking about me. Did I beat the night? I did. In fact, we beat that yesterday at the very beginning of stream. So on Tuesday we will be starting Chapter 4 in earnest, and I'm very excited about that. So I have I've completed Chapter 3 to the extent that I will be doing any of the stuff in it for the sake of this stream. Obviously, I'll definitely not going to be my last playthrough of it ever, but in terms of the stream, we are ready to move on to Chapter 4 now. You did Snowgrave today. Oh my gosh. I have heard, now without knowing details, because obviously I've been avoiding spoilers as much as possible, I have heard that Snowgrave pops back up as, like, chapter 3 doesn't really have anything related to it, but well, aside from, you know, the S rank stuff, but that doesn't really have any bearing on whether or not you did it. It's just in reference to it. But I've heard that chapter 4 brings it back in kind of a major way in terms of consequences, and I'm very, very curious. But also, like, Snowgrave is such a hard, like, I don't know, maybe it'll be easier than bringing myself to do a No Mercy run in Undertale, but I don't think so. I think it's still going to be, like, it's going to be the kind of thing that my brain's going to, like, actively go, like, I just shouldn't be doing this. I don't want to be doing this. Hang on. But, if nothing else, I can just look up what happens, I guess. I'm very curious about the story implications. Kind of stopped reading the guide before it spoiled it. Yeah, it's so weird because, like, originally at the start of, like, when those games were coming out, like, I'm fairly certain that, like, it was very explicitly stated that, like, there was not going to be something like that. And now there very clearly is. Snowgrave, there's no way to even know how to do it without a guide. Basically, yeah, you have to take some very, very particular steps in order to make it happen. It's very deliberate. And yeah, so I imagine that continues on into chapter 4, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you beat Sans and you were so exhausted instead of happy. That seems correct. Yeah. That's the thing about the No Mercy run in Undertale is, like, it's kind of designed to not really even be fun. Like, the game actively doesn't want you to do it, and yet also from a challenge perspective, it is definitely the hardest thing in that game. So, like, it's weird. There's definitely, it's not the first time people have kind of called into question the what would you call it, the ludonarrative dissonance going on between how Undertale is designed and the way it's not going through that again. No, I understand. You stay longer, but you're getting tired? No worries whatsoever, Kona. Have a good night, Kona. Sleep well. Sleep well, Kona. And yeah, absolutely. The VOD will be there on YouTube, also Twitch, but YouTube's an easier place to watch VODs for sure. So, all right, we are at 11 o'clock. I do not know. I'm going to take a quick peek over at one Catch Up the Bears stream just to see if he's still going. Because if he's not, then I might check in to see if he's in our chat. In which point we could... Ah, no, he's still doing some hand cam stuff. So we'll hold off then a little bit longer. You're just getting juggled online with Strive? On Strive. Strive is... I want to get better at Strive. I want to get better at Guilty Gear. I need to put more time into it. It's hard. It's genuinely really hard to, like... I know some people definitely do, like... there are people who do juggle multiple fighting games and get really good at all of them, and I don't know how. I genuinely don't know how people manage that. It's hard enough for me to just be good at one. And I'm not bad at Strive, but I'm also not great at Strive. Like, I would say I'm genuinely good at Granblue at this point. So, Elfelt? I wouldn't be opposed to learning Elfelt at some point. I think she would be fun to learn. I I mean, like, Bridget's my girl, though. Bridget is just my girl. Like, I can't. I've tried before. I really have. I've tried to, like, branch out to other characters, and every time I do it, every time, like, a couple matches in, it's like, but I could be playing Bridget right now. I could be playing Bridget, and then I wind up going back to Bridget, so. Let me see. It's hard to be like Sonic Fox and be extremely good at so many, let alone so many different ones at once. It's true. Like, I'm genuinely impressed by anybody who juggles that many fighting games. Like I said, even just being good at one is really hard. Now, obviously, like, fundamental skills do copy over in between games. That's definitely true. But, like, there are so many, like, individual mechanics you have to, like, get used to in between games that it's just like, man, like, how do you do that? How do people, like, compete on that level at so many things? Some people are just built different. Inherently, I feel like something is always going to take a backseat. Like, something at some point is definitely just like, this one, I can be good at this one, but it's hard to be great at this one, right? Then there's UMVC3 fundies where you don't ever want to block your... I mean, yeah, like, there are some games that are, like, so drastically different that it's a completely different set of skills entirely, so... There he is! Here comes the boy! Hello, boy! Welcome! Hello, Ketchup! Hello! How was your stream? The boy is here! He's here! How was your ASMR stream? I know you were doing a hand cam stream today, correct? How did that go? Hello, Raiders. Hello. Ketchup Raid. Hello, everybody who came in with Ketchup stream. If you are not familiar with me, my name is Sucrose Yuri Shigeki, also known as Sucrose Collision. I'm a grizzly bear VTuber and a variety streamer, and I mostly focus on retro-style content. I have a side focus in fighting games, which is actually what we were kind of chatting about before you guys got here. Mostly focus on Grand Blue Rising, but I play a little bit of everything. And then on Sunday nights, we do ASMR streams. So, let me see here. Stream went good. Chat behaved themselves for the most part. We had some nice cozy rambles with some nice tappies. That's awesome. Catch up. Hey, catch up. So, if you're able to hang out for just a little bit, I've got a roleplay script for you. So, if you need to run off to grab something to eat or drink or something, let me know right now. Oh, you can. Okay, good. I was gonna say, if you need to, like, run off, like, just let me know when you're back. You have water. Cool. All right. So, I mentioned earlier, we're just gonna go ahead and move right into it. I don't really have a background for this one, but that's okay. I don't think we need one. I think this will work fine. It's not quite the vibe of the bedroom that I was hoping to have on, for the thing. There would be here, we're gonna do that. There would be, you know, having a slightly, I guess, darker room without, like, the big old windows behind would work better, but it's fine. It's fine. It'll work. It's not that important. So the roleplay script that Ketchup requested was, your big sister helps you beat a boss in a video game. One important question: was Fuzzy Ruzzy really fuzzy? Was he? I feel like that is a debate that has raged over the ages, and I don't know that I am able to weigh in definitively. I'll let the scholars decide. Anyways, so yes, so the premise here is that I'll go ahead and set up the, like, the tone. So it's late at night, and you are up past your bedtime in your room playing video games. And your big sister happens to notice the noises and the light coming from your bedroom. So, we'll start here. Wait, can I do this way? Yes. Huh? Hey, wait a sec. Hey, are you still awake? You are still awake. What are you doing up still? You know what time it is, right? You're lucky it was me and not Mom or Dad who came by. Huh? And no, I'm not gonna snitch. Do you really think I'd do something like that? Yeah, Mom hasn't headed to bed yet, but Dad fell asleep in the recliner again. But you can definitely see the light underneath the door. Yeah. So, here, one sec. Yeah. So it was like this, this blanket right here, and okay, there. That at least should block the light underneath the door for now, and should hopefully muffle the noise just a bit too. Huh? How do I know to do that? Don't worry about it. So, what are you playing, anyways? Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, I remember you got stuck there this afternoon. It's been bugging you, huh? Is that the only reason you're still up? You couldn't sleep because school stuff's also on your mind? No, I get it. Trust me, I've been there too. Still, you really shouldn't stay up too late, you know? It's only going to make tomorrow worse for you if you don't get enough sleep tonight. Okay. How about this? You let your big sister help you get past this part, and then we get you into bed, and you at least try to sleep. Okay? Yeah. Of course I'm able to get it for you. I've played this game like a bunch. You know that. This guy will be a piece of cake. Yeah, just go ahead and, move over a bit. Let me sit down here. There we go. Go ahead and hand me that controller. Nope, hand it over. What? You can trust me with this. Come on. There we go. Alright. Okay, so, what you should have to do is, then you just need to, Oh. Okay, look, it takes a couple tries sometimes. I'm coming in cold. I need to warm up. So, school stuff's on your mind, huh? Did something happen? There. See? Clean hit. Just need a few more like that and, Okay, progress though. Progress. Yeah. Oh, you've got a test coming up, huh? You're worried you didn't study enough? No, yeah, I totally get that. I've been there. Although I have to say, it's kind of funny that your reaction to that is staying up playing video games the night before, rather than doing more studying instead. Hmm? Yeah, no, I know. It's not that simple. I get it. There. Ha! See? I totally got... Oh. Oh, shoot. Right. There's a second phase. No, I didn't forget that. I didn't. I was distracted. Don't worry, though. I've definitely got this. But... take that and... Anyways. But you know, you're definitely way smarter than I think you give yourself credit for. I know it's weird saying this after catching you slacking here tonight, but I've seen you put in a lot of work. And yeah, sometimes tests can just they can just take you at the wrong time. It can be a struggle, right? But I believe in you. I think you'll be able to take this on just fine. You have done at least a bit of studying for this, right? Yeah? So really, I think you'll make it through okay. Oh. Wait. Yes, there. Almost. Come back here, you asshole. Just one more hit. One more hit. Ha! See? I told you. I had it. No problem. There's not like a secret third phase here, right? No. Okay. It's actually done. Whew. What? No, I wasn't worried or anything. Honestly, I've really had it the whole time. Okay, fine. Maybe I did get a little bit worried there. I wouldn't be able to back up my words, but I still managed. You know, maybe that's kind of a little bit like your testing anxiety, right? I think, you know, it's okay for you to be a little worried in how you'll do. But I believe in you. And honestly, you should believe in yourself too. Once you're really in there, I'm sure you'll do just fine. You've got this. Okay. A deal was a deal. Come on, you, into bed. No arguing now. Come on, let's go. There you go. Try to get some rest now, okay? Hopefully all this helped quiet down your brain just a little. Hey, you got this, okay? You're going to do great. Sleep well. Good night. All right, there it is. I know it was a short one, but I hope you liked it. GG. Of course, Catch Up. Thank you for the script idea. I really had fun writing that one. I wasn't sure how long I could really extend that out, so like, I think it was okay. So thank you for beating Joe Amon and Kiwami 1 without, or for you without abusing Tiger Drop. Can't believe I almost forgot about his Mad Dog phase. Look, I have definitely like had that moment of like, yeah, I've done this before. I can get this. And then like, oh, hang on, wait a second. I have to actually back this up now. So, but like I said, hopefully that was, hopefully that was fun. Hopefully you liked it. Hopefully it was relaxing in a way. If you did like it, catch up. I'm thinking of trying to do a video, like a recorded YouTube version of it. I have to try to figure out the pacing of that because I do want it to like not be super short. And I don't think I get a full like, if I can get it to like 10 minutes at least, that would be nice. I think with some editing and stuff, possibly a little bit of adding in some stuff into the script. I think I can make that work. It'll be a short script for sure, but like there are some short ASMR scripts out there, so I think it should work. But yeah, there's a chance it may wind up being my first ASMR like video proper, like edited video on YouTube. I think I probably wouldn't have like, I probably would just have like a static image up for it rather than like although I don't know, I might be able to do some acting alongside, but I would definitely need a different background. So it's not about the length of the script, but about the tingle of the mingle in our ears. All of your roleplay vids, are you rambling off the top of your head? I've done a fair number of improv roleplays. They're fun. I don't know how well I could do like a polished ASMR like roleplay video that was all improv though. Like the improv, although they are fun to do. They're a lot of fun to do, and they're definitely they're a pretty solid way to I guess brush up on role-playing chops, I guess. But one did really well, but not as well as a random American truck simulator VOD where you got hiccups. Oh no! That sounds really cute though. I'm not surprised. Actually, speaking of improv roleplay, yeah, let's just toss that out there. If anybody in chat has a particular idea, just toss them out there and I'll try them. But if so, it is a thing in my Discord. If you are subscribed to the Twitch channel, you have access to a number of channels that are subscriber only in the Discord, and one of them is a submission, like a request submission thing for ASMR roleplays. So if you are subscribed and you have a particular idea for an ASMR roleplay that you would like me to do a more like polished version of, make sure you drop them in that channel, because I do look at them, and it might take me a while, but I do eventually get around to writing them. So you do need to get some foods and wind down for bed. Good luck. Absolutely. Catch up. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for the raid. And I hope you have a great night. And enjoy your food. But yeah, so trying to think of what we can wind down the rest of the stream with. Maybe, I will leave it up to you guys in chat. I want to know what you'd like to hear. I can do a Night Vale reading. I've been reading through the Welcome to Night Vale, not Welcome to Night Vale. No, it is Welcome to Night Vale. Podcast episode transcripts. So we can do one of those. They are a little bit weird, the slightest bit creepy, but mostly kind of silly and fun. It's a radio broadcast from a very strange town in a very strange desert where very strange things happen to very strange people. And it's mostly played for comedy. So I can do that. Or I can just do some random tingly trigger sounds and just spend the next 40 minutes or so just doing that. Just some random trigger noises. We haven't had that many of them tonight, so maybe that's what we do. What do you think, chat? What would you like for the rest of your ASMR stream? Actually, I think I'm feeling fairly calm and relaxed right now, and I hope that you are too. I don't know where this sultry thing came from suddenly, but I'm gonna run with it. So we're gonna go for some nice, calm, quiet trigger noises. Where's Ariette? I know she likes these particular sounds. Merry-go-round. The boo is here. Thank you so much for the bits, Boo's Merry-go-round. I appreciate it so much. Hello, Dino. What was that? Wait, did you guys hear that redeem sound, or that wasn't supposed to play? Did you hear it? I could hear it, but it's not supposed to be played for you guys. If it did, I apologize, because that was probably pretty loud. But yes, hello, Dino. If you mean the current sound that you're hearing right now, these are ear taps. tapping on my microphone, but it's positioned and designed in a way that it should sound and kind of feel like I'm tapping on your ears. And with that in mind, I can move on to some ear rubs. If the microphone's doing its job correctly, it should feel just a little bit like I am giving you a very nice, relaxing ear rub. There's this. I haven't done this in a minute. Ready? I'm gonna get in there and clean out your ears now. There we go. I hope you enjoyed that. Let's go with some of this. We haven't done this in a while. This is getting towards the end of the stream. Late at night, approaching the midnight hour, and it's a good time. It's a good time for some nice relaxing sounds for any of those of you ready to drift off to sleep. So it's not schizophrenia. Are you familiar with ASMR stuff, Dino? So ASMR is an acronym, I think. Yeah, that's the right term. It stands for... You don't know what is ASMR? Okay, it is an acronym, and it stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response, which is kind of nonsense jargon. What it stands for doesn't really matter. The best way to put it is it's relaxing sounds and visuals. There's a visual element too sometimes, but primarily on this stream, it's sounds. And there is, for some people, that's all it is. It's just some very satisfying and pleasant and soothing sounds. But for some people, when you hear particular triggers, like right now, I am, I guess, scratching on a brush, on the bristles of that brush, But for some people, stuff like this helps. For some people, it's close, softly spoken voices. For some people, it's whispers. And for some people, when you hear that, or see things, it causes a physical response that is very pleasant and kind of tingly on your scalp or your neck or down your back. When I get tingles, it tends to be my scalp, where it just feels very nice and pleasant. My scalp and the back of my neck are the two places I tend to feel it the most. That sound chills you? That might be you experiencing tingles. It's possible. Not everybody does. Not everybody experiences tingles. ASMR tingles. But some people do. And for some people it's very enjoyable. Very, very helpful for relaxing and drifting off to sleep. But like, it's one of those things that like, for the longest time, I would get tingles, basically, and didn't quite know, like, how to describe what was happening. For me, it was always one of those things where, like, there were particular kinds of voices and particular tones of voice that I just found really fascinating. And I just wanted to listen to them talk. It didn't matter what they were talking about. It was just like, your voice is so soothing that I just want to listen to it forever. Like, there were a couple of podcasts, like podcast episodes specifically, that I would just go back and listen to because, like, one of the people talking, like, they weren't even doing anything in a way that was, like, intended to be relaxing, but, like, it was just really pleasant for me to listen to. And now I know that what was happening was I was getting ASMR tingles off of that. But it was just like, I just like listening to your voice. It's kind of almost hypnotic in a way. Not everyone gets ASMR the same way, or sometimes even ever. By get, you mean feel the tingles. Yeah, exactly. And that's valid. For some people, ASMR is just soothing voices. No physical response. Just satisfying sounds. But for some people, it's more than that. I happen to be one of those people, but not everybody is. And it's totally okay. You can still enjoy ASMR content, even if you're not one of those people. If you just happen to find certain sounds relaxing, that's totally valid. I've been told by a lot of people that they find my voice particularly soothing, and I appreciate that. So, in some ways, these streams just exist as the means for me to chat with you guys and let you guys hear my voice in a way that's a little more disconnected from normal streams that would be like gameplay oriented and the like. So sometimes it's just a chance for me to chat with you guys, which is what the start of the stream really was. The first half was that. But now as we're winding down and the night progresses onwards and we reach that midnight hour. We're sort of pivoting a little bit into the more, I guess, relaxing and somewhat hypnotic end of me just droning on and talking about nothing really, just saying some words, but that's okay. I don't know. Are you guys liking this? When I come down a little bit lower and just kind of drone. Like I said, I don't necessarily know where. I think it's because I'm a little bit sleepy myself right now. It's a little easier for me to kind of drift into this more soft and maybe some might say sultry tone. It's good. Maybe I'll do it more often then. Maybe that's just a good default to the end of these yapping streams. Within the last half hour, maybe even the last hour, we just kind of pull back a little bit and let everybody who has been getting kind of sleepy, been getting kind of drowsy, and we give them the means to just drift off to sleep, to just relax and drift off to sleep. Good to enjoy your last free weekends, since in 2 weeks you volunteered to be a voice actor handler for an anime con. That's super cool, though. That's really cool. I hope it's a good time. I know it can be some work, too. So, hopefully it's the good kind of work at a convention. But, like, genuinely, that can be kind of a cool thing, I think. Particularly if the voice actors in question are ones that you particularly like, or like enjoy their work and stuff, because it gives you a chance, I feel like, to, I don't know about chat with, I don't know how much actual chatting you get to do with the VAs. It's pretty cool, but it also means you gotta handle their line and any troublemakers in it. That is fair. That is very fair. Also, thank you so much, Unsatisfactory Sailor. I love that name. It's really cute. Thank you so much, Unsatisfactory Sailor, for the follow. Welcome in. Welcome in. I hope you're having a lovely evening. Thank you for joining us. You're cooked. You heard VA, and the first thing you thought was Veteran Affairs. Oh no. No, we mean voice actors. But thank you for joining us. You're officially a collider. I hope you enjoy your time here. But yeah, hopefully, King Coffee, your time is drama light, and that you don't have any in particularly bad actors in those lines. hopefully it's, enjoyable. How am I doing? I'm doing well. Thank you so much. Should I call you Sailor? Is that good? Or do you prefer to be called something different? Unsatisfactory? Hello, Jazz. Welcome in, welcome in. How are you doing tonight, Jazz? Are you having a good evening? Call you whatever. It's better than what your command calls you. Understood. Let's go with Sailor. Hopefully you're having a good time. But yeah, how you doing, Jazz? How you doing? You're happy with that? What I'm gonna do here, I'm just gonna open this up so I can see who is out there among the world. We're not quite ready to raid out yet, but I'm gonna give let's call it the 15-minute warning here to everybody in chat. So if you guys have any trigger redeems you'd like to have fulfilled, or have any chatting you want to do, this is the time. Go ahead and put your stuff in now, and I'll get to as many of them as I can, if there are any, before we raid out. And if there aren't any, I'll just improvise, and we'll keep on keeping it calm and quiet, and I'll keep doing some sound triggers for you guys. But I'm just taking a quick look out there to see who all is here tonight. There's a couple people. I think it's been a bit since we've rated some of these, but it depends on whether or not they're gonna keep going. We'll see. But that's for me to worry about within the next 15 minutes. But yeah, let's see here. I think I maybe have a target chosen, because I think they'll still be live by the time we're done. So, you're having a good time on the weekend, but it is a Sunday, so you work tomorrow. That is a mood. That's very much a mood. Part of why I do the ASMR streams on Sunday nights is to try to help people kind of wind down and get extra sleepy so that they can get some good rest going into Monday to start out their week as well as they can. But also, that doesn't mean that there's not still those Sunday blues, as it were. There is that kind of, there's a particular melancholy to Sundays. You think you got duty tomorrow? Oh, well, I hope it's I hope that it is, without knowing exactly what that entails, I hope that it's at least a tolerable time on duty tomorrow, if you do, and at work. This is often, I know sometimes, I say this sometimes too, but sometimes a lot of people will say things like, I hope you have a good time at work. And while that's also something that I would wish for people, sometimes it's not the most relevant, right? Work, sometimes there's elements of our work that we can enjoy, but a lot of times work is a necessity. It's a thing we're doing and getting to the end of in order to enable us to do the things that we enjoy, the things that we love. So sometimes having a good time at work isn't really how it works. But what I can wish for you guys is that you have an easy time at work. Whatever that means, whatever that entails. An easier version of what you would be doing. A version that gets you to the end of your day quicker. It never is. You're in the actual Navy, so duty is standing there being a little security guard for 12 hours. That does, I will admit, sound exhausting. But I hope that it is the best possible version of what it can be, right? I know it's not quite as simple as wishing that it goes well. You aren't allowed to sit in some dress whites. Tons of respect for you being able to do that. I don't know that I could handle that. I would go insane. But I know it's a thing that, again, elements to all of our jobs, right? There's stuff that we just have to put up with in order to get to the end of the day. In order to get to the other side of the work day, the other side of the work week, getting ourselves to those moments where you can enjoy the things in life that you particularly like. Because, stuff costs money. Work is an unfortunate reality that we all have to put up with. But I hope that watch standing is a part of Navy life. You have to always remind yourself that everybody does it. No, I completely understand that. And hopefully, because I know, I would imagine on my end, if I had to do something like that, I've definitely been in situations where, not necessarily standing guard watching things, but I have had to be in situations where I have to stand. Oh gosh, wait, I'm thinking about the fact that, I think the closest I've ever had to something like that would probably be when I used to work retail and working registers sometimes, standing. I mean, you're still doing something actively there, right? Probably more closely it would be I remember working Black Friday and having to effectively hold the end of the line and basically just there was that where it was just I had to be basically at the back of a line for an entire 8-hour shift. And that was mind-numbing. But the other version of that too was there was another year where I had to basically keep an eye on the piles of Black Friday merchandise that people weren't allowed to pick up and put in their cart before a certain time, right? And that probably is a little bit more analogous to standing guard, right? Because you are kind of you're kind of just sort of standing there so that people are oh, hey, there's somebody watching. I can't just go do something. And also, obviously, you kind of have to be ready for something going wrong, but for the most part, it's just standing there. And I feel in moments like that, I tend to retreat into my own head and sort of fantasize about certain things and think up little stories or brainstorm some things and just kind of I don't know. I don't know how helpful any of that is, but I guess maybe people might call that zoning out. I don't know. But best part about being a watchstander is you have more authority in your area than anyone in the Navy. Oh, well, there's that, I suppose. President could walk in, but what you still say goes. Ooh, that is a level of power, I suppose. That's interesting. I mean, there's sort of that too a little bit in standing watch in like the retail stuff, but also nobody ever listens to you, so not quite that level of authority. It's just like it's fake authority. It's pretend authority. It's only authority if people listen. So, but yeah, I hope it's, like I said, I hope that it's the best version that it can be, that it's the kind of day that passes quickly for you. Also illegal to disrespect a watchstander. That is not the case in retail. There is no legality involved there. It's just like, yeah, you're supposed to listen to me, but if you don't, best I can hope is that a manager takes my side on it. So but retail was also a particularly trying career. I have not done retail in a while, and I'm glad to not be. I don't necessarily mind having done it, but I'm glad that it's not necessarily a thing anymore that I'm doing. So I do think we're going to, because we are starting to approach that midnight hour. Let me see. Is Kaya Moon still streaming here? Because if she is, then I think we're going to send you guys off to her. Let me see here. Wait, is she? Okay, hang on. I don't see her on the list suddenly. Is she still here and just further down? Or here, same category? Oh, yes, she is still here. Okay, good. Yeah, I think I will send you guys over to her. Not quite heading off just yet. I don't... Hello, Huffy. Hi over there on the YouTube end of things. How you doing tonight, Huffy? I hope you're doing well. But yeah, I don't quite have, the stream schedule ready for next week. There was a thing I was waiting to hear back on from another streamer. And I'm gonna have to see if she's, gotten back to me yet about, but what I can tell you is that I will be back on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time for some more Deltarune. You have a 96 next week. I don't know what that means, but I hope it goes well. But yeah, like I said, I'll be back on Tuesday for some more Deltarune, starting on Chapter 4. A 4-day weekend. Nice. But yeah, we'll be starting on Deltarune Chapter 4. That'll be Tuesday and Thursday, both at 7 p.m. Central. And then I will be back again on Saturday for the next Crash Pad Clash, which is the tournament series that I've been running. This time around, it'll be the Street Fighter players in the community getting their chance to do their thing. And then Sunday might be an ASMR stream, or I might be on at a different time of day to help out somebody with their streaming anniversary, depending on whether or not they still want people to be part of it. So, but because I don't know that part yet, that's the reason why the stream schedule isn't done yet. But I'm hoping that by tomorrow it'll be up, and that'll be obviously on the Discord and on Blue Sky. I'll put that up there too, and on YouTube. I've been putting my stream schedules up on YouTube. So have a good one, guys. Bye bye, Dino. Goodbye, bye, Spiked Kirby. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. I am gonna go ahead and start up this raid here to send you guys off to Kaya. Discord? What Discord? It would be this Discord. You are more than welcome to join it if you would like to, Dino. There you are. You are more than welcome to be there. Of course. Just make sure you read through the rules. There is a bit on there. There's a reaction thing on there that you have to click in order to actually gain access to the whole thing. So make sure you do that. But you got here in time to say goodbye. Hello, Lamney. It's good to see you. I hope you're doing well tonight. Did I start up the... No, I don't think I did yet. So we're going to start this raid. Boop. There we are. So, I will see you guys back here again on Tuesday, hopefully. And if you are coming along with me on this raid, we do have a raid message. Those of you with subscriptions that have access to the emotes outside of the server, outside of the channel, it is this. If you do not have a subscription and don't have those emotes, that's totally fine. I've got you covered with this one instead. Please feel free to use either one of those as we raid out to Kaya. I'm sending you off to some more nice, cozy ASMR vibes. And, like I said, I'll be back again on Tuesday. So until next time, you guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of your night and a great start to your week. And I will see you next time. Good night, chat. Sleep well. Hang tight for that raid. Good night.